An update on some news from the World Health Organization. The World Health experts have issued new guidelines when it comes to screen time and young kids. So if they're sitting there, maybe take a listen together here. According to the World Health Organization, children under the age of 5 should be limited to an hour or less of screen time every day. And kids under the age of 1 should avoid screens completely. This is the first time the World Health Organization has issued guidance about screen time. The guidelines also included some recommendations for sleep and physical activity. Infants less than a year are urged to spend at least 30 minutes a day of tummy time. Hopefully you're already doing that. And older kids should get at least 3 hours of physical activity every day. You can tell them it's official. You've been ordered to do that.